Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. And I'm here, your host, Dr. 𝗪𝐴 from Neurodivergent Business Consortium. And I have few special guests today. So we had some technical issues, so they will join one by one. Anyway, I just need to share our meeting link to Terry. Just spare me a couple of minutes. Not couple of minutes, couple of seconds for me to share the link with him. And we have Michael Stent on the line already. So we're just gonna waiting for another guest. I'm not sure he will be able to join today because he just mentioned me that there is a construction work on his area in Texas, and his line is cut off. So things can happen. No one can predict our future, but we have to work in relation with that. Whatever happened, we have to be prepared, and we have to tailor our methodology to support and to get supported. So my wife had a serious fall yesterday. She's broken her foot, and as well as ankles, and she's admitted in the hospital. I'm doing my live today because I cannot go over there in the morning, so I have to go there in afternoon. So things can happen, anything can happen to you live, but what you should do, and we will discuss about that in detail today. So I wanted to welcome Michael Stan first, and here we go. You all know Michael very well because we are doing live programs. He's also doing live programs for a few weeks now, few months now, and he's doing very good. So Michael, thank you for joining today's live webinar.
Hi, Shak. Hi, Shak. Thank you very much for having me. I think we are discussing quite important topic today.
Yes, yes. So, Michael, before we jump into our discussion, I just wanted to ask you if you would tell the audience a little bit about you. What is your passion and what do you do?
So, what's my passion and what do I do? So, I'm the founder of Uniflow. In Uniflow, I'm trying to help entrepreneurs and individuals in taking control of their life. First, through money management, because money is something that surrounds us, whether we run the business or whether we are just, going to work. Uh, and secondly, through data management, because we are also surrounded by data, and our data, unfortunately, is used by large corporations and governments, but they sell our data. We don't have anything out of that. So really, what we are trying to do here with Uniflow is to help people take control of their lives through data and money management.
That's great of you, Michael. You're investing a lot to support individuals,
Yeah.
even businesses, and it's been a pleasure working with you. So I know Michael more than a year now. So I was engaged with him, mentoring him from the Solent mentoring program in southeast of England, and we know each other from there. We've been working since then. So I would say friendship after that. So whenever I talk to mentoring, it's not like you only contribute. It's like you also get something from the mentees. And I have learned so much from Michael last
Oh.
few years. We're contributing together now as collaborators and so on. Still, we talk every week and discuss different things because when you talk about mentoring, when you talk about business developments, you are not we will not have all the knowledge. You will have some gaps, and to fulfill that gaps, if you have tailored your methodology to engage people, I do not understand money matters. Michael understand money matters very well, and we have different people in our network that okay, yes, I'm a mentor, and I do work with them. I also learn things from them. So it's a vice versa things, and it's a pleasure to work with Michael and all other people that specifically we I work with. Um, it's a combination of give and take. So some people they might say, okay, I'm a mentor, and I'm just giving, I'm not taking anything, that would be rubbish, because every person is different in this world, isn't it, Michael? And
Yeah.
collaborating with them, you learn things. Even though you are a very highly educated person, you will learn something from them. I still learn from my son. He's just 10 and half, 10 years old. I learn things from him because he has different perspectives, and he has different way of thinking, and that is the true fact of growing your mentality. That's the true fact of growing you to the next level. So I will jump into the conclusion. I will jump into our conversation. I'm just waiting for Terry to join.
Yeah,
Most-
like going to what you said actually. Every person around the world is different, and there is so much knowledge that is, given to us through, internet, that one person cannot know everything. And so that's why it's actually quite good to sometimes, like every week, every 2 weeks, have someone to talk to really, and just share your either ideas or just what you're struggling with. Because sometimes, like I have that with my partner. Like sometimes she's tired of me talking to her about, what we're doing in Uniflow, what we're struggling with, what and like every single, I believe, entrepreneur or just individual needs to have that kind of person from time to time where they can just share stuff and where they can brainstorm stuff, because like your partner is there for your normal life, but when you're running the business, it's like it's a completely different life that you sort of have. So yeah, like there is so much knowledge there. It's always good to surround yourself with people who have something different than you have. Like you mentioned, like I'm good with finances. That's why I'm trying to help people managing their finances, take control of their life through money management. But you are good with, social media, which at the moment I'm lucky, and so that's how we really started working together, right?
yes, yes, I
Because
totally agree with you,
yeah.
Michael, because you know when you work with someone, yes, you're working with a knowledgeable person, but that knowledgeable person might need something in mental health. They might need something in social media, business developments, technology, and a lot of other things. So it's a combination of work. If you wanted to grow to the next level, you need to have all the puzzle pieces. So when I talk to individuals, when I mentor individual person or businesses or a group, I give it an example that okay, you have a business. Sorry, excuse me. You have a business canvas, and on that business canvas, you have individual pockets or puzzle pieces. And when you have different puzzle pieces, you need to work with each puzzle pieces at a time, and then at the end you have to have a starting and end, and at the end you will see when it is fulfilled with all the puzzle pieces, you will see the picture, but you will not see the entire picture when you started. Yes, you have an idea what it would be, but business or our life or everything, we just predict, and then we contribute, grow, nurture, develop, and fulfillment. We don't know what is coming on the next. If I give an example, yesterday my wife had have a serious fall from the stairs. She has broken her foot and as well as ankles. She needed surgery, and she's admitted in the hospital. I have to cancel all the appointment yesterday. I'm doing my live today. I I know what is happening tomorrow. I have a plan, but something can come in between. Like Marvin, his line has been cut off in Texas because they are doing construction work in his area. Terry just joined. He was having problem with his laptop. So we have to have a contingency plan, and based on that contingency plan we can go forward, we can fulfill what we wanted to do. So I just gonna add Terry to the stage. Terry, thank you very much for joining today's live webinar. How are you, Terry?
I'm fine, thank you, Dr. Shah.
Yes. So I just wanted to ask all the viewers, please feel free to ask us any question you may have through the comment box. And we have Michael Stan from Uniflow and Terry from Terry Arnold Consultancy. We also work together. And as I said, I'm working with Terry now nearly a year, mentoring him as well as supporting him, and as well as a business partner, growing business together. So it's not one-way thing. We talk to each other to contribute great stuff, great knowledge. So I wanted to ask Terry, if you could give a little bit of introduction to the audience today, that would be great.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. Okay, in a nutshell, started with Unilever. I did 5 years at Unilever, so it was a very good grounding for me.
Terry, I would request you to move a little bit back, because
is that better?
Move a little bit left and side, left, and yeah, that's great.
Okay, good. Started with Unilever, did 5 years with Unilever, then went on to be creative director of BBDO International. Then I built my own consultancy, creative consultancy, for 10 years, then sold it, and went back into a business, global marketing agency, well, consultancy, and right up until the pandemic. And then, well, the rest of it, we know what happened with the pandemic. So what I did is relaunched the consultancy side of the business in my own name. We were employing about 400, 500 people. It was an Indian-based consultants, marketing consultancy. So it was quite substantial, and we were specializing in research. So what I did is I bought myself out from the consultancy and continued on my own. And that's where I've been these last 2 or 3 years.
Thank you, Terry. And as I said, it's a continuous development. So if you're a business and you're thinking, okay, you have a lot of employees, and you have strategists, you have a lot of other people onboarded with you to support you, that's a good thing. But please be aware that when you talk about mentoring or growing your business, it's different than you have employees or you work with some strategist. It's like you work with someone and understanding their need. Based on that, based on your methodology, you work together to conclude something. So when I started with Terry or Michael years ago, we were different. And then when we started together, we understood each other. We tailored our methodology to work, and then we contribute together to get a great results. I think Terry can give a good example when we started in relation with supporting technology, supporting Terry with one-to-one basis, talking to him. It was different. I learned things from Terry, and as well as I contributed to support him. And similar with Michael, as I said, we understood each other, we contribute together, and we get something at the end. So I just wanted to ask Terry first that, we talk about mentoring and why it is important, why we need mentoring, rather than, yes, we're going to be developing a business, we have business strategies, a lot of other people are engaged with the business, but why mentoring is important. If you have like, okay, 10, 15, 20 people, doesn't matter, specifically why it is important.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. In my particular case, I had a stroke, and when I came out of the stroke and I was in a coma for 3 or 4 days, I was reassured by the by the doctors in the Royal London Hospital that because it was in the neck, it wasn't so severe. Didn't seem like that to me, but at the time, but their words were very reassuring, put it that way. And they said right from the beginning that I would probably make an 80% recovery, and which, you know, as you can tell now, I would say yes, their words are true. And they stood the test of time, because after my occupational therapist and all the rest had done their jobs, and I started to have measurements of cognitive tests, what they said was true. However, what I found about 3 years in, bearing in mind that what I was told by the doctors was, you know, that I couldn't even remember my, you know, my daughter's names. You know, I didn't even recognize them. That's how bad the stroke was. But about a week after, everything started to come back, and they said, if you continue along, you know, on that path, you will probably, you know, do quite well. And obviously, you know, operating a mobile phone and a computer was, I didn't even know where the on-off switch was, you know, on the computer. So, you know, I'd really gone back to square one in my learning curve. And I thought to myself, you know, I can struggle along in this direction, or I can get a mentor to help me. And that's where Dr. Shah stepped in. Well, he made himself aware of his, you know, his skill sets and all the rest of it. And they seem to, the word I use is, you know, we had an immediate empathy, and, you know, everything seemed to fit together. So, and I have to say, you know, yes, you know, because I was quite advanced in my skills, as one might imagine, and had to start again, I had to put my trust in Dr. Shah, that where he was going to lead me, which, you know, it was along a totally different path, put it that way. You know, we would benefit. We would both benefit. And we've had some healthy discussions. And yeah, you know, I still retain some of my ideas. And he's still, you know, he's guiding me along. I think that's the easiest way to describe, you know, where we are now.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. So there are lots of people watching today's live. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's live webinar. Thank you, Linda, Sarah, Urmi, and Salahuddin. We already got some questions. If you wanted to ask us any question, feel free to ask us. My voice is a little bit down due to my yesterday struggle with my wife, hospital, and a lot of other things. Excuse me for that. So my next question would be to Michael. Michael, you know, you're working a long time with the team and with the older team. How did mentoring supported you, or how do you want to support other people to grow their finance and things? What is the core motivation here?
So, like I mentioned a little bit before, like for me, mentoring is just like sitting with another human being who is going through similar struggles and have a little bit more experience than I do, like you have, Shah. And just like Terry mentioned, guide me through, or like give me a little bit more broader spectrum of the journey that is ahead of me, right? And because, you know, that's why the mentor should be there. There should be those people who went through those journeys or similar journey once already, or twice, or a couple of times, and they should give you that knowledge and like show you the path going forward, so it's a little bit easier for you, so you don't have to do everything by yourself, so you don't have to learn everything from the beginning. And I think when you previously was saying about, you know, your child is really getting mentorship sort of from you, which is totally true. We take in that as something that every single kid has. But if we think about this, kids doesn't want to listen to their parents, right? They don't want to be guided. They want to like run around and just do whatever they want to do. But as a adult, as a normal, you know, grown-up human being, you understand how important it is to actually, how it would be important for you to actually listen to your parents when you were younger, because they are actually, you know, much older than you are. They have more experience than you have, and they went through the steps that you are going through. And so for me, that's what mentorship is. I understood that, like, if I will find someone who went through the journey, who knows how to do things, I won't have to waste my time to actually discover everything by myself.
I totally agree with you. You know, I've been through long, I would say, last 25 years. In more than 25 years, I would say. I'm in the UK since 2004. I started my business while I was in school levels, starting from my sister's garments to sell them in local shop. And that was my entrepreneurial journey started in 95 and 96. And then gradually, I have learned so many things. If I give an example of, I understood technology, I understood marketing, I understood digital media, I understood AI, and a lot of individual things. And these learning curves, I was successful with specific mentorship. Why? Because in every single stage, I was I was guided by someone to get to this I am now, and they have a specific way to deal. Something I did not like it, something I did like it, and mix. So I have learned through long way till today that mentorship is not like that. Okay, Michael, this is my formula, and you have to follow this formula that I say so. No, it will not happen. Why? Because the formula you have tailored, that is a methodology, and this methodology may not suitable for Michael. This methodology may not suitable for Terry. So you need to improvise it. You need to tailor it to fit for purpose. So that's the way it can grow. We have many questions already. I will start asking them. So mentoring has to be like clay. Okay, when you work with individual, you tailor your methodology, understand their needs, and based on their needs, you support them. So my son is 10 and 10 years old. When I talk to him in relation, I understand him, and then I talk to him. So I do not do something that, okay, you have to do it and you have to do it. No. Yes, you can do it the way you feel that is you are comfortable. And similar with Terry is struggling to sort his camera out, so please excuse us for that. So when we talk about mentorship, we need to understand each other, that we will grow it differently. And in relation with empowering neurodivergent people, you know, we both, three of us, we are all neurodivergents. And when we're talking to neurodivergents, they are like have 10 different arms behind them, millions of thinking. And if you do not nurture them well, you will not have a good match. So we can talk about neurodivergent mentoring in rest of the segment and later. You know, when you talk or work with neurodivergent, what motivates you to work with someone in relation with understanding and in relation with growing your mentality? I just wanted to ask this question to Michael.
Well, that's an interesting one. Maybe Terry can answer it.
Michael, I'll answer it, because I think for me it's quite straightforward.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, they will identify with this. In my own world, I'm quite an ambitious person. I always proud of the fact that I'm a Leo, not that I follow vehemently star signs, but I think it's an indicator of my personality. And the other side of my personality, which doesn't come through as a typical Leo, I'm not arrogant, or I don't think that I'm arrogant. Maybe other people will think I am, but anyway, I'm quite passive, calm, and all the rest of it. And the inner struggles that I have on a personal level, which are all to do with ambition, as I said, I think, I was creative director of BBDO International at the height of my corporate career, and and very proud of it. And when you get to that sort of stage of development in your career, things can, go to your head but because I didn't really think I was creative as such as a person, everybody else did. Obviously I was writing, award-winning commercials and so on and so forth. But I never sort of thought of myself as being a creative person. My roots were actually embedded in art, and my artistic tendencies, if you like, or skills, were really the champions of my personality, if you like to put it that way. So, I just coincidentally ended up in advertising, and I ended up as a creative director. You could say, well, it was destiny or what. But no, I would say my number one passion was art. The driving force was everything to do with, anything that was creative, shall we say, good looking, aesthetic, all those sorts of things, tended to sit well with me and gave me the sort of satisfactions that I was looking for. So, that was my driving force, if you'd like to put it that way.
Thank you, Terry. Yes, understood you very well. Last 1 year, I would say. We work together, we understand each other, and then we tailor our methodology to go to the next levels. And that's a healthy relation, I would say, because we do not impose something that we do not agree. So I think that would be the next solution. So if you're working with neurodivergent, you know that most of the neurodivergent people, they are innovative, and they will not listen to you if they do not understand or they do not agree. So it has to be resonating with their knowledge. It has to be resonating specifically. It is tailoring something in a right way, and as well as you cannot force them to do this. You have to be impactful, understanding their needs and tailoring their methodology in their way. Every person is different. We work differently. If you give me a work, I will do that work differently than the other person they would do. So if you want someone to work with you, you need to understand them very well. So we are here working with neurodivergent people, and when mentoring individuals, so if you're working with a ADHD person, you need to understand what is their core motivation. And they are brilliant generating ideas. but they are not brilliant tailoring that ideas to be successful. Then you need an autistic person to stick with that idea to become successful. So every neurodivergent person, they have their own way of growth and work. So whatever they are good at, work with them to make extraordinary piece of work. So that's why nowadays when we work with groups, it gave us success, because we know Terry is brilliant with his idea. Michael is brilliant when he's doing maths or things that other person can do. I am very good at executing as well as understanding 3D vision of any ideas. So stitching them together, we can fulfill and we can reach our target. So thank you everyone for joining today's live. We have Richard Huron said hello. He also said about the incident that I have. Thank you, Richard. We have many questions, so I'm just gonna ask one after another. First question is from Urmi. She said, how can neurodivergent leaders leverage their unique strengths to foster innovation within a team? So I think Terry or Michael, who you wanted to answer this question? Michael, you wanted to go for it?
Maybe I can go this time because
Okay,
Terry
please.
took the previous one.
Hmm.
How we can leverage our unique strength? Like we mentioned already before, every single neurodivergent person has some unique strengths, right? And
Yeah.
so the best, really, in my opinion, the best way is to actually make them sort of, how to say that? So focus just on those and let other people do what they are strong in, in their areas about. Because in this way, it's just a lot of people like, I like to sort of sometimes micromanage a little bit too much because I'm very detail oriented person. Okay. But in the same way, I always check 3 or 3 times the things I do because, I have certain these possibilities that allow me to make mistakes, I would say. And so if you find your own unique way, your unique strength, just stick to it and let other people do the stuff that they are passionate about, that they are strong about. That's why when I'm like building the team or like when I'm doing interviews with people, I always ask them, one of my first questions is, how do they get where they are? And the other question is, why they are still doing what they're doing, what they are still passionate about in that area that they're trying to work on. Because like the passion, it's extremely important, and from passion you get your strengths, really.
Thank you, Michael. I was talking to one of my new friends, Harun Rabbani. You probably saw him a couple of weeks back. We did a program together. He has ADHD and great strength. And we also believe the same thing, that when you have someone and they have a great strength, work on that great strength to make them unique. And then when you make them unique, they will understand what they cannot do better. So they will sort them out gradually. I can give my example. I was very good at education. I did very well on my assignments and everything, but I wasn't good at my presentation. So when I got like 100 out of 100 in most of my assignments for my graduation and my master's, on my presentation I was getting like 50, like below. It's just like below average. I challenged myself that okay, I have to improve it. Now you can see I'm doing live programs after 5 or 6 years of my PhD and master's and a lot of other things. So it has improved because I have, that neuroplasticity. Every person, they have neuroplasticity, and neurodivergent person, they can manage their neuroplasticity differently. Like Terry, he had a brain stroke, I had a brain tumor surgery, but we were not limited with our gaps, with our disability. We transform our brain to the next level to become successful who we are now. So every person in this world, they have neuroplasticity, and if they are neurodivergent, that even better, they can transform themselves different than the neurotypical person. So Terry, my next question to you would be from Salahuddin. It said, how can neurodivergent leaders advocate for themselves and their needs within executive role? It's a very brilliant question.
Are we talking about in particular skill sets?
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay. So I can talk for ages on this subject, but let's keep it to the point. In my just keeping the conversation in the area that we were in about being a creative director of a global agency, I learned at a fairly early stage, and again, I agree with Michael here. Passion comes into it, very, very, very much so. Already, I was in the early days. I was a designer, for about 6 months or a year, starting off like most people do, and then I thought, design's not me, and I wanted to get into advertising, and so what I did. From the agency or the design company that I was working in, I decided to do something really extreme. I thought, I'm going to emigrate. Emigrate. How far was I going to emigrate? Oh, just across the channel. So I went to France, and a whole new world. I already had a passion for speaking French and learning about the French culture, but all of a sudden I was immersed in a totally different environment, which was very challenging. And what I realized at that point was that I've got to learn another language, and learning a language which was not my forte. I won't go into those details, but it was by no means, I wasn't a linguistic by any measure of my abilities. But I went to a school which was affiliated to the Sorbonne, and went on night classes and so on and so forth. And bit by bit, I began to understand the language and the culture. The French culture, and from that I didn't have, I never looked back, because my level of experience was so colorful, should we put it that way, and so broad. I mean, I was getting involved in aspects, and I was making friends with French people, which again, their personalities also added to my experience, and so on and so forth. So what happened was that whilst I was still quite passionate about doing advertising, this other aspect was coming through, which was a lot more profound. And I think Dr. Shah will agree with me on this, because we've touched on the subject several times before. But my linguistic and cultural interests just, blew out of all proportion, because what happened was, as I began to learn more and more French, and my circle of friends in France grew, they added to my, experience, and my depth of understanding became more profound. And then when I sort of went back into getting a job in advertising, I was able to add that string to my bow, if you like. And it's never gone away, because what I can see now is that probably one of the main strengths is, you know, on the surface, people will say, oh, you know, you speak French, you know, but that's not the root of my understanding. It's my interest in cultures on a global scale, because, you know, French is a very difficult language to learn. I won't go into all the details, but it doesn't come naturally. For all sorts of different reasons, nothing to do with me personally, but to do with what people recognize as a, you know, a language that is not so easy to learn. So, and I took on that challenge, and I thought to myself, well, you know, I will learn it and I will become proficient in it. But because what I was saying, you know, because of the extra dimensions that it gave me in my profession, it's you know, it's still paying off even to this day.
Thank you, Terry.
I think if you don't mind me adding something, like,
yeah,
Yes.
What Terry was saying is, I mean, that's what I at least understood it. If you are different and you want to go for the executive role, that's your power. That's your superpower as a differentiator. And people who are neurodivergent, they are different already.
Yeah.
So I believe if I wouldn't have those problems, like my brain works a little bit differently, I wouldn't be able to create the tools for people in the way that I have created. So they're easy. If they're easy for me, they're easy for everyone. You know, and like I had that. My girlfriend was in the past doing some videos on YouTube, so on cooking. I have two left hands for cooking. Okay, but because I wanted to learn, I was always saying, if I can do it, everyone on the, you know, who was watching those videos could do it, because, you know, like if you are neurodivergent, you have something different. That's my point. And having something different and going to CEO, CFO, any kind of that kind of roles is bringing to the table something different, and something different is always good, because then, you know, the whole table is starting thinking differently.
I totally agree with you, Michael. I have seen it while working with individual teams. And, you know, when you work with teams, and if you have neurodivergent people, that you tailor your methodology differently. And I also have seen that, yes, there are neurodivergent people, too many neurodivergent people, and they cannot combine their idea together to get succeed in the innovation. So we knew that's the time the mentorship kicked in. Because why? Because you might have a neurodivergent person, but maybe they are not capable to mentor someone. They do not have that strength. So when you have mentoring capacity in some of the neurodivergent person, you can tailor the methodology. You can guide through your entire team, neurotypical or neurodivergent people together, to get to the success that you're looking for. So there are some positive and negative things, but as you know, we are in the space together to support individuals, to support businesses to grow. I just wanted to share my screen to let the audience know the some of the work that we are doing together. So one of the things that is, just going to share my screen, and we have Andy mentoring. I'm working through individuals, supporting them with empowering teams, individuals, and I have a methodology, and I named it 𝐶𝐻𝐻 12 core formula. And with this 12 core formula, I tailor my methodology for individuals to get them to the next levels. And please be aware, like when you work with someone, it's not like 1 or 2 days fixing. when you work with someone, you need to understand your strength, weaknesses, and based on that, you tailor the methodology to become successful, to go to the next levels. And it takes months, years to get to the um, levels you're looking for. So if you go to andymentoring.nvconsortium.com, you will be able to see all my work, the people that I have worked in, most of the people there. Michael is there, Terry Arnold is there, Century 33, Thomas Hutchinson is there. We have many other people that I'm working with. Another platform that I wanted to share is the salesfunnelaccelerator.com. We have a tailored methodology to support individuals, and we are working together. As I said, that when we work individuals with individuals, we tailor our methodology to go to the next levels. So if you go to salesfunnelaccelerator.com, you will see our 7-step proven methodology there. And this is an end-to-end process. The good thing of this methodology is that we are continually evolving, and we have a team of people. So you will see many people that we have worked in. Michael is also over there, Terry is there, some other people there, and we're working together to get to the next levels. And we are in conversation with many other people to work together to go to the next levels, to work together to tailor our methodology with different process. Because when you have a process, you need to understand your process start points and end points. So when you understand your process, you can understand your growth, and you can take this growth to the next levels. So we do not have all the knowledge together. Michael, he has his own strength and weaknesses. Terry, me, I also have a strength and weaknesses. So we have power, and we wanted to change this power to contribute to your growth. So these two updates I just wanted to share with you. I have other questions that we need to ask. So if you wanted to talk to any of us, Terry, Michael, me, and any of our team, feel free to go to Andy Mentoring, and as well as Sales Funnel Accelerator. We will share the links on the message section. We're going to be working together to support you and to grow your business. So I have Linda just shared something different is always good. Totally agree. Thank you, Linda, for your message. Yes, something different is always good. We need to see that when you think differently, that is contributing as well. Because sometimes we think differently, but if that is not contributing and that is harmful, we don't accept that. So thank you for your message. Colin said, total agree, doctor. Mention is also extremely hard to navigate. Sorry, mentoring is also extremely hard to navigate. I totally agree with you, Colin. It's
about
like
that, I think the problem a lot of people have, and I think you mentioned a little bit about this, is that they think that if they will go to the mentor, they will have the results like this, straight away. It's gonna be next month. I'm gonna change the world. Everything in my business is gonna change. But like you mentioned, it's a very important point that you already said, is the time. You need to put the time. You need to change your perspective on how quickly you can actually achieve certain things. Nothing happens straight away. Everything
totally
you
agree
need to
with you.
work on very hard, regardless whether you're neurodivergent or not. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens with time. And people, I think that they have that perspective that they can do a lot very quickly, but it's totally opposite to it. Like you give yourself some time, give yourself more time that you think that you should spend on it, because it will take more time. It
I
always
totally,
takes more time.
I totally agree with you, Michael. And we have some questions from Colin. I'm just going to share that with on the screen. Uh, Colin asked, "How can you get into leadership?" Colin, um, and all the panel members, leadership is not a thing that will grow automatically. It's a process. As Michael said, anyone can be leader. I accept that anyone can be leader, but you have to have that strength gradually built up to become leader. If I give my example, on my childhood, I did not know that I was autistic. I was very odd in character. So I used to hid under sofa, under bed, behind my mom, um, and I was afraid of the world. So I did not go out of my home. I did not play with young people of my same age. What I did, I played alone. I did everything alone. I had my own world. But now, who am I? I'm talking to people. I'm a leader, and I train people to become leader. So I'm 45. It did not happen in 1 or 2 days. It's a continual process. Working with Michael, working with Terry. He had a stroke. We retrain our brain to get to this point, and is contributing because we do not access a tiny fraction of our brain to work competently, to become successful. So even I have my muscles on my brain, part of my skull. When I had brain tumor surgery, it took a lot of my memories, but we retrain our other pockets on my brain, like Terry, like other people, to think differently, to contribute differently. So every person, they have that strength. So Colin, thank you very much for your question. And I just wanted to ask the same question to Terry, that how could you get into leadership, Terry? If you could ask this to Colin.
add
Yeah.
a little bit
Yes,
to
Michael.
the previous one? Because I actually believe people, you cannot sort of train yourself to be a leader. I mean, in some ways, you can obviously adjust your brain and do what you were talking about, and that's I totally agree with. But to become a leader, people need to see you as a leader. People need to choose you as a leader, and that's how you become a leader. You're not becoming a leader because, okay, I'm a leader. From today, I'm a leader. Obviously, you can do the self-talk and like act so you want to become a leader, but at the end of the day, to be a leader, like we can see it with politicians, with CEOs who are stepping into the role of the CEO. They are chosen to be a leaders. They're not, and they putting themselves in the positions to be there, but at the end of the day, they are chosen to be leaders.
Thank you, Michael. That's great example, because it is all about training yourself to become a leader, training yourself to become what you wanted to become. Because you might not that have experience, but if you train yourself, you will become the next one. I always give my example, my wife examples. When she was here in the UK in 2009, we got married. She came here. She even could not know how to use the match. The match. Fire match that you just light up and turn your stove on, gas on. She couldn't even do that. Now she's a manager of a still other company in Southampton. She trained herself to do that. So you can train yourself. Doesn't matter. You don't have a such quality. You don't have things, but with appropriate training, you can become that person that you wanted to. So Terry, I just wanted to ask you that Colin said, okay, he's mentioned that it's extremely difficult for him to become a leader. Is it difficult? Or what do you say to Colin, if he wants to become a leader, what is your suggestion?
Well, I think there's two sides to the coin. I would say, in my case, like Michael, I had a passion. I didn't have a passion for mathematics, but I had a passion for sciences. But in the sixth form, and I was in a grammar school, I turned around to the headmaster and said, I don't want to do sciences anymore. I want to do art. Well, you know, it's as if I'd suddenly become a leper, you know, and I was throwing away all my career potential, because you know, I don't think the headmaster actually spoke to me again after that, after the fact that I declared the fact that I wanted to become not an artist, but I wanted to study art. And they left, you know, I was left alone, you know, at that very early stage, probably a moment when, you know, I needed assistance and help the most. I'd been abandoned. But anyway, I made my own direction. You know, the passion was still there, you know, and the more I discovered about art, you know, and I did do, you know, I did study this, you know, I went to art school and all that side of it. So, and the more I, you know, discovered it, the more interested I became. So I would say, getting back to your question, are you a leader by nature, or do you actually learn it? I would say, first of all, you have to have the passion. That, you know, you have to have that level of interest that will drive you forward. And this is where Michael and I would totally agree. But what you need on top of all that is, yeah, you need guidance. You need to learn. So what you do is, in my case, I had not a philosophy, but, you know, I had a way of doing things where I wanted to surround myself with people who were exceedingly good. You know, so naturally, I mean, I remember the very first agency where I had an interview, ad agency, and it was it was J. Walter Thompson. And in those days, obviously I didn't get the job. And I thought about why I didn't get the job. And what struck me was, you know, all I wanted to do is, the guy that was the creative director that gave me the interview, if you like to put it that way, at J. Walter Thompson, I just came out of that interview and I thought to myself, I want to be like him, you know. So how, you know, in being like him, what are you going to do? Yes, you're going to study the skill sets that are necessary. You'll have the motivation to do that. But then on top of all that, look at the work that's being done and the environment in which it's being created, and learn from it. You know, who's doing what, and so on and so forth. So I think when you walk in those footsteps, shall we say, the mentoring is almost done for you. You know, because the other thing I would add is, once I got to a certain level, and fortunately I had some very good opportunities, like, as I mentioned, Unilever and BBDO International. What you do when you then break away and you're doing your own thing, and you decide that, you know, consultancy is going to be your direction for the future, you've got to lead by example. So in other words, what I would say is, I was 33 before I built my consultancy, and I ran that for 10 years. But what I was doing was, I was doing creative executions or ideas at a level that I thought, well, the industry will appreciate this, and all the like-minded people that I was surrounded by, they all endorsed what I was doing, not in any, sort of like, wimpish way, but in, they could see the reasoning behind my thinking, if you want to put it that way. And then obviously, winning business or winning accounts, significant accounts, became second nature, so I think everything follows a natural course. Once you have the passion, the drive, the experiences, it would then probably come next. Then you can lead by example, which I would put as a third skill that you probably have to have.
Thank you, Terry. We are nearly, not nearly, we just end of our session. We are 1 minute over. We're going to be another couple of minutes over. So please excuse me for that. I just wanted to ask Michael, key takeaways from this webinar, if you wanted to say something to the audience.
Find your passion, give yourself more time, appreciate being different, and don't afraid to ask for help.
That's a great takeaway, Michael. For Terry, key takeaways you wanted to share.
I would agree with Michael. You've got to have the passion. Some people, they just sort of like wander through their life and they don't have a passion, and then they wonder, what happened? Where did it all, I wouldn't say go wrong, put it that way, but anyway. So the second point I would say, then surround yourself by talented people, and then follow, if you've got the ability to become a leader, or you think you have who's to say who is a leader? I mean, but there's a question for you for a start. But if you are a leader, or you think you've got leadership qualities, then pursue that.
Thank you, Terry. Please stay on the line. I'm going to say bye-bye to the audience, and I will say bye-bye to you offline. So just give me a couple of seconds to end this program, and then I will talk to you offline and say bye-bye to the audience. So stay online. Don't leave the meeting. So thank you, everyone, for joining today's live webinar. I just shared the link that I wanted to share to you, the ND mentoring .nbconsortium.com. And if you wanted to see our sales funnel accelerator, you can see salesfunnelaccelerator.com. And if you enjoyed this program, feel free to spread the word. We are here to support. We know it is difficult sometimes, but you have to work with. You will have a difficult time, but if you stay with the difficult time, if you destroy your future, you can do it. But the way Terry, I, and a lot of other people that we know have succeeded, even having a difficult time, you will like it, and it will transform your lives differently. So you might have difficult situation, but you are the person that you can steer that to the next levels. So if you are an ND person and you wanted to grow, feel free to contact any of us. We will lead you to the success and guide you through to become successful, to become the next leader. Because you cannot become next leader if you do not follow one, if you do not have connections with leaders. So I will welcome you next week. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Linda, and all other people. They have asked us questions. We cannot answer those, but we're going to be answering your question offline or maybe next time. Until then, stay tuned, and I will welcome you next week with another episode from Neurodivergent Business Consortium. Please also see my other lives for Gen Z Marketing Agency and Time Research and Innovation. If you wanted to support, feel free to contact me or any of the team members, and we will tailor our methodology. Until then, bye-bye, and see you in the next program.